I'm really excited that you guys could be here. So I'm trying out this new offering that I have in mind, and it's basically about, so I do a lot of astrology following. I do a lot of following of energy workers, and oh, it's 12 o'clock for you, Daphne. Look at that. Lunchtime. and I intuitively start translating all this information and breaking it down in ways that make sense for me, especially just as a person and as a parent, and how this relates to my kids. So it was brought to my attention that this would be a really great offering to give to others of, hey, this is what's happening in the astrology world, evolutionary astrology. This is what's happening just on our earth and our planet, and what that might mean for you. So kind of like translating all that information into bite-sized chunks that work for you, that work for your kids. So that's kind of like what I'm going to be doing a little bit here today. Well, not a little bit, but my name is Christy Whistler. If you don't know who I am running the Intuitive Parent Evolution. It's a Facebook page and also a Facebook group, Intuitive Parent Evolution. And you're welcome to join us. So if any of this information resonates, please check out the page. Please join our group. I'd love to have you join us. I'd love to work with you. You know, and share this message if any of it resonates with you. If you're like, hey, this might really be helpful to me, this might be helpful to other people, and just kind of sharing this message so we can start having some deeper conversations, which is kind of what is on tap for the astrology. And so just kind of like a little baseline, this is not going to be a all-encompassing. Like, I don't want this to be a 30-minute video of what's going on in the astrology world. So I want them to, again, to be kind of bite-sized chunks so you can take the information and reflect on them and kind of start to build awareness into your life of how this might work for you. Hi, Leslie. How are you? I know it's 12 o'clock for you, too, because you are in New Jersey. So I would love for you, as I start sharing this information, if you're like, hey, last week you were experiencing this with your kid, or you were going through something, definitely leave it in the comments, because I'm really curious to see what your experiences are like. My astrology mentor recently said that children are actually the best reflections of astrology. Like, they're kind of like living it, and you can see it. They're these open books, and all we have to do is just open our eyes to see them right there. So again, bite-sized chunks. There's more. There's a whole lot going on right now in this world, in the energy world and in astrology, but I don't want to overwhelm you. So I'll do some more updates. So just kind of think of this as like it'll be a continuation, but to kind of just get you started, get you centered. I am going to be sharing some terminology, different planets and whatnot. Don't get kind of stuck in that. I'm sharing this just so over time my intent seeps into your brain, like this slow understanding. So don't freak out about all the specifics, but just kind of let it settle in, if that makes sense. Hi Tanya, how are you doing? It's been a while. All right, so just those kind of like just sort of caveats, and of course, as always, we are all different. Your kids are different, and they very well may be having just different experiences, like how this might be coming up. Might look very different for you than it does for me, than it does for Kate or Eric, my kids. So it's look to your kids to teach you who they are, and start kind of building that awareness so you can best support them. And see, look, Hedwig agrees. It's great to see you too, Tanya. Oh, you know what? if you only got a few minutes, that's totally fine. I love that you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, old school here. I wrote all this down on paper because I am a parent and I don't always have my computer in front of me. So I kind of hand wrote all this out. So again, old school here. All right, so starting a few days ago, on September 11th, we had Mercury in Libra, opposite to Chiron. Again, don't get hung up on the details, just let it soak in. Okay, so what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your family? So there can be a lot of healing conversations that's taking place right now. Mercury is the planet that governs communication, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So there can be these conversations between loved ones, with our kids, people in our life. And they can be holding up these mirrors for us. This bouncing back, this reflection. And this time that we're in, this moment, is we should be talking to our partners, our family, and our kids about our struggles. Don't hold all that stuff in. We all have our wounds. We all have our struggles, and right now in this moment, talk about them. Like that's the energy that's right here. And there can be, if you're willing, again, Eric shaking my table. And if you are willing to open up, and if you're willing to be vulnerable and to have these conversations, there can be great healing that's taking place at this moment. So don't stuff it all in. Don't stoically and silently carry it all by yourself, as society and our upbringing have taught us to do, especially as parents. I think it's really important for our kids to see us when we're in our emotions, we're having a hard time. I think it's really essential for them to even see us cry, because they start to learn that it's okay to cry, because mom cries, because dad cries, because grandma cries. And not only do they see that, they then see how you move through those emotions, giving yourself love to feel, right? Are you okay? What's wrong? With what? Huh? Is something wrong with the PC? Do you want to just use your iPad until Daddy gets up? No. Hold that thought. I'm going to see what's wrong with the PC.
Okay, Kate.
I don't know what Microsoft was doing there, but I just had to click a few buttons. So, yes. So as I was saying, now is the time to be vulnerable, to be open, to speak of those wounded areas in our life where we're struggling, where we're needing help. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely needing help. I have definitely had moments, certainly this past week, where it was really hard, and just needing people to hold space for me and to listen to me. I'm just laughing because I'm trying to do this and shaking my table. And the other thing that's kind of coming up right now with this is it's time to actually heal around gender and sexuality. And that's that Chiron being in Aries right now. So have that awareness in your mind. And not quite so much this update, but for the next one that I'm going to be doing, as I'm getting into more of Venus and the moon, keep that in mind as well, that there is this big piece about gender and sexuality that's coming up in the collective to be looked at and hopefully to be healed and integrated. So start noticing. Start noticing areas around this. Start questioning areas in your life around these two. Again, it's kind of the energy of the moment, the astrology of the moment, really big opportunities for healing that can come through if we're willing to look at them, if we're willing to kind of go a little bit deeper and to dig down. And definitely keep this in mind with your kids, especially if you have older kids. And I'll get back to that in the next update. But just, again, like this could very well be an area of massive learning and healing that's taken place. Say, all right, so Tanya is sharing. Thank you for sharing, Tanya. The astrology mix is explaining your outbursts of grief that you released yesterday out of the blue. Missing one of your favorite places I used to live and visit. Happened quickly and was over in 3 minutes. Purge of old grief. Oh wow. Whew, Tanya, I'm really feeling that for you. Not going to be quite in this update, but there's a lot of action going on in Pluto. Wow, look at all this emotion coming through. So Pluto is, when I hear that going back into the past, this unearthing and this healing that's taking place, to me that always translates to Pluto energy. And we are going to be having Pluto stationing direct next month, I believe. So I would be very curious to even see where Pluto is in relation with your chart, with your astrological chart, Tanya. But yeah, like there's absolutely energy in that too. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. And again, also, which is a perfect lead into Venus and the moon, which are both very emotional, very feminine, our two most inner feminine planets. So on September 10th, Venus left her own sign of Libra and she entered into the sign of Scorpio. And the moon entered Scorpio as well. Again, what does all that mean to you, for you? What could this mean for your kids? Again, those are our two very feminine planets, our most feminine planets. And so in going into Scorpio, this can very well be a time of being more introverted, more sensitive, more emotional. This recluse feeling, this reflective feeling on a deep level at this time. Tanya shares her Pluto sits at the last degrees of Virgo, cusping Libra. I would be really curious to see where the Pluto transit right now is in relationship to your chart. I kind of like it feels like you might have some really interesting I'm sorry, the words escaping me. I'm not going to say like square or opposition, but it feels like you've got some really, you could have something going on right there as well. So take a look at that. I'd take a look at that and see. Yes, Pluto is it's a powerhouse. It doesn't hold back. It really doesn't. Yes, we can absolutely do a reading sometime, Tanya. Do you want to do like an astrology reading? Because I'm still learning and growing in this area, so I'd be curious of exactly what kind of reading. Just an intuitive reading, or message me. I would love to work with you. What's wrong? Would you believe they were totally fine? And then I go live. We'll restart. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Okay. Try again.
Yes?
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yes. Message me, Tanya. Absolutely. I'd love to work with you on astrology. Okay. Let's see if the kids are good. All right. All right, so again, this can be a very deep, reflective, emotional time. I myself am a double Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio moon and Scorpio rising, and I've also got a bunch of planets in there as well. So for me, this energy was actually coming up about a week earlier before these actual transits. And I didn't, for example, I just came back from Yellowstone camping with the kids, and I came back and I didn't want to share. I didn't want to go on social media. I didn't want to do lives like this. Instead, the feeling was just being really quiet, inward, reflective, and just kind of and holding it and going really, really deep. So that was the energy that was coming up for me. And then I learned about this, and I'm like, oh, well, of course that's why I was feeling that way. So again, like having this information is like another tool for you in your toolbox, in your awareness. It just kind of can make life, moving through life, a little bit easier if you're able to kind of do the decoding and the translating and what this means for you, right? Because we're all different. Now, that was my experience. I will say that this was not my kids' experience. So, because it's not just going to be about astrology, as I can share as I can. So around September 8th through the 10th, we were having a lot of solar activity, like a lot. And in addition, I was hearing from, oh, bye, Tanya. Thanks so much for stopping in and saying hi. Yes. I'm looking forward to your message and seeing you in class tonight. I'm going to knock my own phone over. Can't blame it all on Eric. So I was also hearing from other just really sensitive people who I trust, and they're like, oh yeah, there's a whole lot of energy that's been hitting Earth. And I'm like, of course. Now, I was feeling quiet and withdrawn. And yet for my kids, they were having this swirling energy. They were so sensitive to what they were experiencing that they were literally bouncing off the walls. And in fact, we had chairs getting knocked over. Like, I couldn't get them out of the house fast enough to ground and expel that energy. And I had Kate sitting there, and she'd just be like poking Eric, trying to getting him to rile up and react and just poke. You know how kids do that, poke. Like, that was their energy in that moment. They were struggling to ground it. And so for them, their energy was going through the roof. And it was reflecting back to me how they were experiencing and how sensitive that they were. And again, different experience than mine. So we're all different. And so use your powers of perception and awareness to kind of to see what that means for you, for your kids. So, my question to you is actually, how were your kids last week? Like, kind of having this information at hand now, kind of knowing, oh, we had solar flares, we had all this energy, all this activity that was going on. How did your kids handle it? Did they notice it? He just loves hitting my table. Doesn't matter if I move him to someplace else. Hey, Eric. 1 second, guys. Use your foot over here, please. This one. Can you use that one? Put your foot there. So, how are your kids? How is their energy? Is there anything that jumped out at you? How they were responding? Was it different? What about yourself? So much of this work, using astrology like this, using energy, this forecasting that I'm doing is really going to be about you being a detective for you and letting your emotions be the guide. Letting your emotions kind of like to show you the way. To get your thinking mind out of the way and really feel with your emotions. And Leslie's sharing. She thinks about it. Peter had a lot of energy. You thought he would be exhausted from starting school, but nope, he was still so energetic. Leslie, that was my exact same experience. I'm like, we just went camping in Yellowstone for a week. What? How are you not bone tired, exhausted like I am? Like, what? So this could be another like little detective clue for you, Leslie, that maybe Peter's really sensitive to solar energy. So that could be something to even keep in the back of your mind as, oh wait, wow, his energy's going through the roof. I wonder if something's going on. Kind of the same way we might even follow like full moons and energy with our kids. They can be very sensitive to it. And like having conversations like this is really important to help us understand them and to help us support them in the ways that they need. Because again, we're all different. And some of us are really, really sensitive to these things. Like really sensitive. So yeah, be a detective, just like I'm talking with Leslie here, and look for the common threads and the common reactions, and you'll start kind of putting together the pieces of the puzzle. And this is this understanding, this awareness, hi Amy, will be an invaluable tool on your journey to supporting yourself better and supporting your kids. Can you just imagine how much you can just, of the junk and the crap you can just skip over if like you just understand and have that awareness? Like it's going to save you a lot of frustration. You were feeling exhausted, Leslie, right up to the start of school. Yeah, anticipation of it, all that needed to get done. Oh my goodness. Right. How is that going? How are you doing? How's Peter doing with that? It's a big transition. Yeah, it just kind of popped into my mind too about the energy with our kids going back into school. Like there definitely feels like there's a tie into there, and I really feel very sorry for some of those teachers last week because at least with my kids, it was like, oh my goodness, I can't imagine having 10 or 20 or 30 kids and trying to move through that. Oh my goodness. So this is the invitation for us, though, learning how to respond. So this is a time as the moon and Venus, change the page, they've both moved from the sign of Libra, which is an air sign, into water, which is Scorpio. And this is all about going deeper, digesting all that we're experiencing and feeling on a deep level of what is occurring around us, and going in there with it, going down. This is about processing much more than what is on the surface. And on the surface is kind of where we as society, that's where we all want to stay, but there's this invitation to go down deep. There's a lot of healing that can come through with this. And everything that I'm sharing right now, like, this is going to be ongoing for the next couple weeks, this invitation. Leslie's sharing, it's going well so far. Lots of worry for an upcoming IAP meeting. You want them to make some changes. Oh. My heart goes out to you and to all the parents who've had to really stand in your power and sadly have to fight for your kids and what they need so they can thrive and so they can learn. And I know that's not everyone's experience, to which I am very, very grateful, but I know that many, it's hard. And I absolutely get why you're worried about that. This popped into my mind is a really great technique is to sit in and with the feeling of things going really, really well, like kind of just visualizing them going the way that you want. And I would even offer to, like, visualizing yourself, like really standing in your power, and if they're pushing for something you don't want, just being like, no, kind of pull that power into you before you go in. Visualize what you want, but really hold that strength in you. Angela, you hate going deeper. You feel like all you've done for 2 years is go deep. Oh, going deep. Yeah, I hear you. I enjoy going deep, but it's like, okay, can we like move on? Can we move on, please? I've had some really, really massive Pluto transits, and I'm just like, this has been a really rough couple years. Like, oh, Eric, look at your body. Look at all your energy. We're going to be going swimming after I get off this call with you guys. All right, so again, like, what can this mean for you, and as for your kids? This feeling of needing to go deep, all these emotions that are coming up, this reflective time, I would say it means to slow down, to give yourself and your kids the space and time to process and be in whatever emotion, whatever moment, just to be in that. I have found that when I try to rush through my feelings, or especially my kids, that's when we kind of get into trouble. Me as a parent getting into trouble, right? Like, when we try to hurry our kids along, this like to hurry up and stop crying, this idea of like, well, how bad can it be? We're going to be late. This wrap it up already kind of energy. That I believe is when we do harm. And I'm going to call it harm because that's, again, it's what I believe. Allowing ourselves and our kids to feel is essential. It really is. There is a lot of research on this. Yes, I see you in your body. That's right. Yes, all the energy. All the energy. Dr. Dan Siegel is one of my favorite researchers about this. He talks about like the whole brain child. So if you're interested in like learning more exactly on what I mean by that, like dive into his work. It completely opened the doors for me to show up different as a parent. And if you would like to have some more conversations about this, again, Intuitive Parent Evolution, you can check out the page, you can join our group, and this is all like kind of the heart of what we're talking about here. But it's this idea of when you give yourself time to slow down, to be in those emotions, that's when we can really go deep, we can heal. When you're running out the door because you're late to an appointment, that's when right? That's when I might start snapping and yelling. I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, I got like 8 things going on in my head and we're trying to go out the door, and meanwhile my kid's upset, and it's like, well, just forget about that because we got to go, and that's not supportive for them at all, and it's not supportive for me. And even with my like awareness of this, it is a practice in learning, lots and lots of learning. So dive into that if it's interesting. Leslie seconds Dan Siegel. His work is really, really great. But again, just kind of like this is like almost a forewarning as well. Lots of emotions can be on the horizon, guys. So be prepared. Give yourself the allowance to slow down. Give yourself the space to slow down. And if you're going to be late to school, just be like, you know what? I'm going to be late to school, right? And just let that be what it is. Oh, Danielle, hi. You did not miss it. I'm still going through it. We've had a few interruptions from the kids. So, I'm just rolling with it as best I can. How are you doing? So again, this can be a time of great sensitivity, emotions, deep reflections. So instead of rushing out that door, let those emotions be whatever it needs to be, and give them that space. It's worth it. I promise. And again, like, we're going to be in this energy. Kind of like whether you like it or not, it's on the menu. And having this forewarning, having this awareness and the grace to slow down, permission to slow down, to reflect, to be with your kids however they need it, that's going to be really helpful in making this next couple of weeks go smoother. I don't know about you, but as a parent, I really like it when things are smooth. So I'm going to talk just a little bit more here. I'm going to share a little bit about Mars. Oh, thank you so much, Danielle. I'm grateful that you're here with us. I would love to know your thoughts as I kind of keep going and sharing, I moved Eric over to the other thing to put his feet on, and he still comes back to the table. I think he just wants to be a part of this and to shake it. Daphne's sharing, it makes sense to her. You've been slowing down, not getting so emotional in these difficult moments. It helps a lot, yes. Slowing down. Yeah. That also brings to my mind too is right now we have Uranus transiting Taurus. Taurus also about slowing down, reconnecting to the earth. Simplicity. All right, I'm gonna shift him again because, yeah, hang on one second. Eric, this table you are shaking, and I need the table. Can you shake Kate's table? I want to shake this one.
No, I don't want the PC to break.
He's not going to break the PC. It's sturdier than my little thing over here. All right. So, a little bit about Mars. So, on September 15th, which is today, Mars has just moved into Venus's own sign of Libra, and Mars is going to be here for the next couple of months until October 30th. Again, don't just let that information seep into the back of your head. Don't get hung up on it. So Mars energy and going into Libra, this is all about relationships and collaboration. We're going to be exploring through relationships, through the mirror of those around us. And who are our kids if not our mirrors? So big moment right here that we have, again, of opportunities to heal, to go deep, to have this reflection. So this Mars energy in Libra is all about learning through this reflection. The reflection of others, reflection of our kids, the different values and systems. Mars is an initiating kind of energy, a wanting, again, to explore our desires. In this case, explore through relationships. And here again, we have this the theme of learning through the other. It's coming up in other astrological elements. I don't want to throw too much at you, but just kind of know that that is a theme that's going on right now. And what does that mean for you? What does that mean for you as parents? I would say to hold the door opened for this kind of learning through diversity, learning through differences. So, in fact, watching my previous videos, when I'm sharing about my kids and their language challenges, sharing about their sensitivities, the different ways and approaches we've used for education, like the different choices that we've made to support them on their journey, like that is actually a perfect example of keeping that door open, learning through someone else's different experience. So again, there is this exploring differences is on the menu, but being open and collaborating with those around us. And I would definitely say that includes our kids. He really likes this table. It shakes so much because it's just one of those little tiny pop-up tables. It's not like a good sturdy thing, so it really shakes. So I would ask you, what can you be learning in your reflection? Reflection from your partner, reflection from your kids. What is being shown to you, spoken to you, but without words? Again, what's being reflected back to you? What can you learn? Mars is that initiating energy. So it's a great time to initiate new relationships. You can't tell he's shaking it? Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Because it looks like I'm constantly going like this. So this is a really great time for new relationships, new types of collaborations and opportunities. We want to be talking about new ways we can be doing relationships, new ways around how to collaborate. And I would definitely say, let's have a new a conversation about new ways of doing relationships with our kids. As many of you know, this is actually very dear to my heart. And I fully believe that we as individuals have the power to change the world simply and just as challengingly by changing how we do relationships with our children. That our children are seen all throughout our society as actual human beings who have opinions and feelings all their own, and that they have a right to those opinions. That their opinions matter. So again, this is about asking new questions, having different and deeper conversations around our kids. Moving from a children are seen and not heard kind of mentality to where we seek to be in partnership with our kids, that we trust in our kids. And I do believe that this kind of shift would have a ripple effect all over the world. It would be tremendously healing for our whole world if we could just do this one little thing of seeing our kids differently. And it's just that kind of learning through relationships, learning through our differences. Again, that's on the menu right now. This is the perfect time to have conversations and go even further, right? Like, instead of just talking about kids, we could be having this conversation about minorities, about women, about people with differences. So there's a lot that we can explore together in asking these questions, new ways of doing this, and seeing others, seeing ourselves even. So yes, this energy, it's already right there for us. And the more we kind of draw our awareness to it, the more we can harness all that and to really bring about some of this change. And it will really help us going forward, because this is going to be with us. It's not just September. We're well into October. So it's going to be around for a bit. And this will really help you, this awareness and kind of allowing for these questions, this energy will help you stay steady in the waves. Instead of getting thrown about left and right, you can ride those waves steady and in the center. So relationships, supportive, sensitivity, equality, justice, there's all an initiating energy around that right now. Now, this next question that I'm going to ask.
And we do it? Okay.
Okay. I don't ask lightly, especially from those of you who are parents.
It has a pool.
What is it that you
Once I finish with Felix,
desire?
this will be my new home.
What are your
I don't
needs?
like uncle's houses.
I know.
There's so many rooms.
Especially if you have young kids, that there simply isn't a lot of space or energy to put towards you, to put towards your desires and your passions. This is actually one of the reasons I am not a big fan of the current nuclear family setup in our Western society. That's all I'll speak to, since that's what I know. This is too much for two adults to do on their own. It's too much. It's too much of a weight and expectation. And to always get it all perfect, right?
So, Daddy?
Right, gotta be perfect.
I really want to buy a game pass.
And for those of you who are single parents,
And what do you do?
like my heart goes to you. I have no idea how you do
I
it.
like to dress up.
And even striving again to do these things of slowing down and connecting at emotional level and just and being in those emotions when you've got double what's like what I have on my plate. Like I see you and I really, really respect you. So I do understand that what I'm asking of you,
More outfits and
what do you desire,
I know. Daddy, can I come here, please?
is a big thing. And even more for you to make even the smallest bit of space in your life for you. Right, Daphne? So difficult.
From the Roblox catalog.
That means you're gonna have more creative outfits.
I feel
And the
like,
outfits I have
yeah, I definitely feel. I'm going to make a note of that.
here are from parties. These
How many of us
That's how I got them.
are or have gone through that?
It's pretty cheap,
Yeah.
so that seems reasonable.
This pain that we're in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
the burdens,
also, I
and
like to
it
dress up.
feels like I would say it feels like a burden quite a bit, as much as it's joy.
That's right.
That's a lot to hold. That is a lot to hold.
So
And I feel like we should have conversations about that, just because they're our individual stories
Because I do multiple things than one thing. I not just one type
are
of
the
thing.
same in many ways. And let's start talking about that. Let's start having conversations about, yeah, this is pretty darn shitty. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we then also carrying this expectation of perfection?
Too many times I rage. And I don't like it.
Right? Leslie's sharing. I realized I needed a rest. I booked a weekend away with another mom the weekend after the IUP meeting.
What?
I feel confident leaving him with my husband, though I'm sure I'll feel guilty. Wow, Leslie, I'm really, really happy for you that you did that you had that awareness, that you had an awareness of your needs, that you have needs, and then you took action. So I would, I know you got a lot going on, but I would really encourage you to dig into that guilt a little bit before you go. Right? Again, oh, look at this. See, tying back to the energy at the very beginning with the Venus and Moon. Go in. We're in Scorpio right now with those planets. Go into that. Reflect. Hey, kiddo, remember what I said about swinging really high? Thank you. I think if you go into that, like you're gonna do healing and releasing some of that. Like where is that guilt coming from for you? And do you need to carry it? Can you let it go? And what popped into my mind is that this is probably going to be very cyclical. Like this isn't like a one and done thing. I mean, I know for me it's not a one and done thing, especially around parenting, especially as being a mom and these expectations that I was programmed with. But I think that you're going to really enjoy your trip better if you go into all that, into that guilt, let yourself feel it, and you're going to have more joy in the actual experience of it. But really, really kudos to you for recognizing that you have needs, because we all have needs, even as parents. We have needs and we have desires. We do. We do.
Ego. You are ready.
Now, and again, that'll look different for everybody. So, like, what is your desire? What is your passion? Like, what lights you up? And how can you make the tiniest little space for that? Because if you don't do it now, then when? That's the invitation. When? When is our life really going to start getting easier and slower? Are you really going to wait 10 years before you start putting yourself, even in a small way, first? Daphne, she's sharing. So Daphne, so you were a single parent? Single parent and mom with a daughter of 2 kids doing it on her own. The guys do very little in raising the kids. My daughter's father inherited money, said he would help her with a place, and now is holding back. It's like they just let us do everything because they know we will. Just want to hold space for you for a moment, Daphne, and to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I mean, I'm sorry. Just getting a lot of emotion that's coming through, because I can, even from here, I can feel how many other people are going to resonate with that, with what you shared. And they're going to say, that is my story too. And even what you shared, it's not even the tip of the iceberg of how hard it was. And I'm sure how hard it is now, even just maybe disappointment, being let down again. You've carried the load for so long. It's just a part of it. And again, like right here, having these conversations. Speaking of our vulnerabilities and our struggles, this is the start of it, of these changes that we want to bring. So for your daughter or her kids or any others similar, like, we can start shifting that paradigm that no. We want our male partners, or we want the men in the lives of these kids, or if it's reverse and there's a single dad, and I would say even demanding of, and not demanding in a hard word, but as in standing in our sovereignty kind of feeling. Bye, Leslie. Thank you so much for joining. When are you going to step up and help out, even care, right? And then it's like us saying, you know what? I'm not standing for that shit anymore. You know, I'm not saying you specifically, but that energy of our claiming our sovereignty, and however that looks like for you in the situation that you're in, claiming that sovereignty and just being like, no, like, that is not good enough for me. I want more. I deserve more. Our kids deserve more. How can we start shifting that? And I feel, Daphne, that you are opening up that door for us by sharing your story, sharing how you feel. It's so hard to understand. There's nothing we can do to change their moral value. I just feel, and this could be, again, we're all going to have a little bit different story, but I feel, Daphne, that you are shifting that already. And it's not necessarily in a way that can be seen, because this is energy that we're talking about here. I think it's happening. I think as we do this more and more, we're going to shift it. I can share that that this has been very important for Sean as a dad, to be here for his kids, because when he was a kid, his dad was working all the time because he had to, right? There wasn't really a choice. And it was almost never spoken between Sean and I, and yet the way that he's engaged in showing up for the kids and really being with them and being present and learning through watching me, like me modeling, me changing, me shifting, like he's doing it too, and it's unconscious or it's subconscious. So I can share that, at least from where I'm sitting, I am starting to see a shift. And it's not going to be a universal shift for everyone, right? We're all having different experiences, but I'm just sharing that as a little light. Oh, I'm getting something in my throat. Look at this. Speaking our truth. Let's clear all that out. Eric, it's okay. He can have that. Just don't step on him again, please. Hedwig flew off the counter with a little Ziploc bag.
When this happened?
Yes. Inherited views. And that's definitely going to be stronger for some over others. And even, like, again, kind of going back to astrology and birth charts, like, what is the soul here to work on this lifetime? And everything I shared with you about Sean is actually reflected in his birth chart, that he is here to do things differently than his dad. Not that his dad didn't love him, he really, really does, but still doing it differently. Modeling begets change in others. Raise our vibration and it affects those around us. Absolutely, Dina. Absolutely. I have continually witnessed that shift. Even how I engage with the kids as far as when they're, really learning language. Excuse me. Yeah, I've got a lot in my throat right now. Recasting, modeling, like even the grandparents have changed. I didn't sit down and teach them how to recast to the kids as they were learning to talk. They just started picking it up naturally. And they did it, I'm sure, because they were unconsciously seeing the results. So why not? All right, Dina, thanks for joining us. Enjoy reading with your kids. So yes, desires. Make time for yourself. And again, that's all this Mars energy that's coming through. It's that time to be asking these questions. so we can do this deep healing, so we can start creating these safe spaces for collaborations, for relationships again, right? That's the theme, with others, so we can explore our desires. And yes, as parents, we do have desires and we do matter. And let's start connecting, just like we are here, connecting with those that resonate with us, who want to share these messages and talking about new ways of doing relationships. All right, so to kind of like wrap this up, as I said, there's a lot of energy that's coming up right now. And I'm going to kind of dive a little bit deeper, but I didn't want to overwhelm you guys too much. My intention, oh my goodness. I'm really sorry. I had a lot coming through in my throat. I guess I should really sit down and start asking myself even more, making space for my own desires. You can feel the energy? That was quite a lot. And look at that. Now it feels much, much clearer. I feel like I kind of really cleared that out. Well, you know what, Daphne? If I'm clearing that for you, I am honored. I am honored. So I hope this was a digestible chunk for you, for kind of what was going on last week and a little bit into this week. There's more coming up, so I'll do another little update and what that can mean for you. The themes that we're talking about here, relationship, sensitivity, collaboration, as I said, it's going to continue. We're definitely going to be talking about this more over the next couple months. It's not going anywhere. So put your awareness in that direction and continue to ask yourself questions. How can we do relationships differently? How can you experiment or try something new with this group or that one, or maybe starting one of your own? And you know, how that could look for your kids as well. New friendships, new groups, new doors opening for them and their opportunities. So kind of keep an eye on that. Again, next couple months. I find in general that when it comes to this information, I digest it better when I first apply it to myself. It helps me ground and get my bearings and understanding, and from there I can kind of extrapolate that and look at it with my kids with a different, with that lens. But I kind of need to go first for me, and then I can apply it to them. And when I do that, I look at them and I'm saying, how are my kids responding? What are they doing? What needs for them are coming up at this time, and how can I meet those needs? Daphne, you're having these conversations with pretty much everyone around you. Well, you're already doing it. Like, harness that energy. Very, very supportive energy right now for doing exactly what you're doing. I think that'll kind of, again, make the way a little bit easier. Maybe not easier, right? But it could. I'm not saying for everyone. I know there are difficult conversations in this world right now. Very much so. So again, we're all different. It's being difficult, yeah. There's a lot of energy behind you to do that work. Absolutely, though, for sure. So, and I hope that this is helpful. That this astrology, this energy that I'm talking about, can kind of be like a roadmap. I find that when I have this, I'm better able to navigate those challenging moments or get through them. And it's helpful for me too when I'm in those challenging moments that they don't last forever. It may feel like they do. And in some cases, they can last for quite a long time. but it's not forever. And knowing what I'm going through, what I'm transiting, it kind of just helps. It helps. It's like, okay, this is what's going on. It's okay. I'm just going to keep kind of breathing through it and trying to stay as centered as possible.
Daddy.
So yes. So
If you just turn off also.
emotions. All right. So and so for those of you who watch this in the replay or in the future, I'd love to know, like, what are your experience? What are you going through? Daphne, I promise it is not just you. It is not just you. And I hope that, again, in like having these conversations, so I can at least sit there and say, I'm in it too. I'm totally in it right there with you. You're not alone. And that will also make going through that a little bit easier, right? A little bit easier. But I guess I'd love to know your experiences. I'd love to know what your kids are going through. We're all going to look different, having a different reaction, different experiences, and sharing that is going to help all of our stories like just grow, be connected. We're not in it alone. Right, Daphne? We're not in it alone. So, kind of to wrap this up, if you don't know who I am, again, I'm Christy Whistler. I'm with Intuitive Parent Evolution. I have a Facebook group that you are so welcome to join, Intuitive Parent Evolution Facebook group. I offer coaching and different support, intuitive readings, however you need me. And I'm also offering these parent astrology energy forecasts just to help you out, move through these moments. And please share this video if it resonates with you. If you think there's someone that could benefit, share. Let's get this message out there. Let's have more conversations, especially around how we're doing relationships with our kids. Let's start showing up for each other, for our kids. Let's have these different conversations. Let's go deep. Let's go there. Let's shift how we do relationships with ourselves, with our kids. Oh, Daphne? Yeah, I could give you a card, my friend. Let me pull a deck for you. Hold on one second. Right? Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, I've got the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. Daphne. Guidance for Daphne today. Got a whole bunch of cards falling out all over the place. The Witness. Oh, I'm just smiling because I'm like, the energy of this card is just perfect for what we've been talking about. The Witness observes without engaging in any action. By cultivating inner stillness, we are able to assess any situation from a higher perspective and make better decisions. I feel this like encouragement for you, Daphne, that that's exactly what you should be doing. That you are both doing it and to continue doing it. When we can be present for someone else's difficulties with stillness, then we are able to truly hear them and give them better advice. Being still, right? Going inwards, going into those depths of our emotions. I can't make this up. Sometimes we can be so still that we are a mirror for the other. The mirror, the reflection. Then through our presence, they receive their own answers. You know, I was going to do a collective card, but I don't, like this feels like the collective card. Like, Daphne, it feels like you brought this for us. Thank you. The witness has been by your side all along and is now ready to become your ally. You thought you were the doer, but today you discover that things happen when you get out of the way. Witness creation unfolding before you. Change reality by finding stillness and letting your true intent reveal itself. Acknowledge your preconceptions, ideas, and feelings about the situation you are in. You never understand the mirror, Daphne? You want to let me know kind of what you mean by that? I just want to make sure that like I'm hearing you right. Okay, mirror image. So thank you for asking that. I had a feeling that's what you meant, but I wanted just to clarify. So we, as humans, we project our feelings, our opinions, our experiences out onto others. We do this, most of us do this unconsciously. And our kids are often the perfect mirrors for us because in a way, like, right, they're our kids, they're us. So I have found that there's no one who holds up a better mirror for my work and my learning than them. Okay, just let me just a moment, baby. So I kind of hope that makes sense a little bit. So trying to think if I can give you an example off the top of my head. Example for a mirror. So let's say your kids, like you said, in the moment, having that reflection, whether you receive it or you're giving it. Trying to like follow your question. Earlier in the conversation or specifically right here with the message from this book? Okay. Okay, message from the book. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Okay. So the book. The book is talking about being so still. And by still, it's like getting out of our own mess and our own judgment, right? Our own thoughts and opinions. So kind of like being still and with all that, which will allow the other person, like, not having an opinion. Yeah, it's like it's talking about putting that aside, your opinions, your judgment to the side, and being still. So still that the other person can't respond in, like, let's say you're having a family fight about a disagreement. Pick something, right? That's going on in our world right now. You don't agree on the same thing. And instead of kind of getting worked up, and so you're like fighting about this thing and you're doing this, you like let go of the rope and you're just like, I'm just gonna be still. And it's in the stillness that they have no choice. They can't keep pushing against you because there's nothing to push against.
And it's out, and this game house is on 90.
There's no energy to keep them going. Like, so in that moment they have no choice to kind of see themselves. You don't have to be swayed by their opinion. You just sorry. My house is waking up and moving around. Eric's shaking my table. I meant to say that they can only be swayed by their own opinion. I don't know if sway is the right word. Yeah, because sway is almost like a trying to convince, right? And this isn't trying to, because that, again, yeah, influence is not, we're not trying to influence. What you're doing instead is holding space, if that makes sense. There's an energy difference between that, of being still and not having your own opinions and judgments get in the way. And again, there's that reflection that it's an invitation for them. And most won't still look at their reflection, like, to be honest, right? Yet we can hold that space of stillness as opposed to continuing the cycles and the dramas. Okay, I need to wrap this up because I gotta get these, talking about energy, I gotta get these kids outside. What else can I share for you before I go? Change reality by finding stillness and letting your true intent reveal itself. Do not fall back on controlling patterns. Instead, take a few breaths and connect with the joy of not having to perform. Hold space for the world to keep spinning on its own. And just witness it. Actually, that's going to be great advice going forward the next couple Next couple months for sure. Allowing things to be witness and don't get pulled into it. Yes, it is. It is nice to slow down. Yes. Unless you're my kids and you're swirling with energy. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. And like I said, I was going to pull a collective card, but in my mind, that is the perfect collective card wrapping up the conversation that we've had here about astrology, about the energies, and kind of how we can navigate that as parents, right? A perfect ending. So Daphne, thank you for calling that card up for us. Thank you for asking for a card. I hope it was helpful. Cough up more stuff. Hope it was helpful. And again, you can follow me, Chrissy Whistler, at Intuitive Parent Evolution. Join our Facebook group. Reach out if you need some guidance and support. Like you're not going through this alone. You absolutely are not. Let's all show up and support each other as best we can as we start going deep and start asking these new questions. How can we show up in a different relationship with our kids? I'm telling you, that sure feels like it changed the world. All right, thanks so much. And I'm going to be back as soon as I can with some more information that's coming up. Like I said, we're in a big moment of time, and I want to share. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Daphne, for all who are watching. And have a great rest of your day. That's right. We are all in this together. Thank you.